What's up, YouTube? It's Onion Bomb here on Ascent Sports, and welcome back to our NFL 2021 record predictions. Today, we are moving in to the NFC, starting with the NFC North. If you missed our AFC predictions, we did the North, South, East, and West. Make sure to check out those videos. Today, we're doing the NFC North, being the Vikings, Bears, Packers, and the Lions. I am being joined by the whole squad here. We got Steven, Jimmy, and Isaiah, and we are going to predict these teams' seasons. Alright, starting off with the champions and the NFC champion runner-ups, the Green Bay Packers. There was, of course, the big drama with Rodgers, but he's coming back for one more year, most likely. So this could be, like, the Packers' last chance for a while. I don't think they can't get something going after he leaves, but
Jordan Love.
Oh yeah, Jordan Love. You know, he apparently I've seen like mixed reports. One day he's trash, one day he's great. So I don't know, but like I feel like it's gonna take a while to get to the point where they are right now. But what would their record be? Let's see. I have them starting off getting a win against the Saints, then another win against the Dolphins, but then losing to the 49ers. The last time they versed, I think, was, I'm not sure if they versed last season, but the NFC Championship last year, 2 years ago, they got ran all over. But then I have them being the Steelers, Bengals, Bears, football team, and Cardinals. Very nice win streak. But then they're going to lose to the Chiefs. Oh, shit. They're going to lose to the Chiefs, then lose to the Seahawks, then lose to the Vikings, and then also lose to the Rams. So they're going to fall from grace there, but they're going to regroup after the bye week, come out, beat the Bears again, beat the Ravens, beat the Browns, beat the Vikings, but they're going to bench and they're going to lose to the Lions. And I have them finishing 11-6.
All right.
Interesting.
Well, for me, I have the Packers starting off losing to the Saints, but then they bounce back. They beat the Lions, they beat the 49ers, but then they lose to the Steelers, but then they beat the Bengals. Then they lose to the Bears, and then they beat the football team, but then they lose to the Cardinals, and then they finish off the season on a 9-game win streak, being the Chiefs, being the Seahawks, being the Vikings, being the Rams, being the Bears, being the Ravens, being the Browns, being the Vikings, being the Lions, setting them up for a record of 13-4.
Solid. Pretty good.
Okay. Go for it, Jimmy.
Week number 1, I have them losing to the Saints, but beating the Lions in week 2. Week 3, I have them beating the 49ers, and beating the Steelers, then beating the Bengals, beating the Browns, beating the Washington football team, beating the Cardinals. So they're going to lose to the Chiefs and Seahawks. Week 11 to week 18, they're going to win out, beating the Vikings, beating the Rams, beating the Bears, beating the Ravens, beating Cleveland, beating the Vikings again, and beating the Lions again for a record of 14-3.
Hey. Alright, so for my Packers predictions, I have them starting out 2-0, beating the Saints, beating the Lions, but then losing to the 49ers, then beating the Steelers, beating the Bengals, but then losing to the Bears and the football team. And at this point, they're going to be 3-3. And Aaron Rodgers is going to be on, like, his relax shit, guys. Like, I got this. And then they're just going to rattle off 5 straight wins, or actually 6 straight wins, against the Cardinals, Chiefs, Seahawks, Vikings, Rams, the Bears. But then lose to the Ravens, but finish the season winning out, beating the Browns, Vikings, and Lions, going 13-4. They have Aaron Rodgers. Like, come on, man.
Alright, very solid. Packers are indeed going to be a good team this season.
So, for my Detroit Lions picks, I actually have them starting out beating the 49ers, which I think is an upset, but then losing to the Packers, losing to the Ravens, beating the Bears, losing to the Vikings, losing to the Bengals. Losing to the Jesus. Not again. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I thought that this was gonna be like somewhat optimistic, but nah, it's not. Losing to the Rams because, like, obviously, losing to the Eagles, losing to the
They got their
Steelers.
old boy on there, Matt Stafford.
Bro, they got Jared Goff back there. It's cool. Losing to the Browns too, of course. Losing to the Bears, 'cause why not? Vikings too, because they're just like the Lions aren't very good. Losing to the Broncos. But at the end of the season, I do have them rattling off nice 3 little wins. Sweeping up the Cardinals, fucking them up, fucking their whole shit up in their division. Beating the Falcons, they suck too, so like cool. But then beating the Seahawks, because why not? Once again, like anything can happen.
What about week 18?
Oh, they lose to the Packers.
Yeah.
So they went 5-12.
All right.
I don't know why. Like I thought that I thought that I had them at like starting out good, but no, they started losing a bunch of games there.
Already, week 1, I have the Lions losing to the 49ers, then losing to the Packers, losing to the Ravens, but they're going to beat the Bears, beat the Vikings, beat the Bengals, but lose to the Rams in week 7. Week 8, they're going to beat the Eagles. Week 10, coming off the bye, they're going to lose to the Steelers. Week 11, they're going to lose to Cleveland. Week 12, they're going to beat the Bears. Week 13, they're going to lose to the Vikings. Week 14, they're going to beat the Broncos. Week 16, they're going to beat the Falcons. Week 17, lose to the Seahawks. And week 18, lose to the Packers. For a record of 8-9.
What did that, what was that week 15? You cut out.
Week 15, they are actually going to win against the Cardinals in an upset game.
Too.
Well, 8-9 is a pretty good record for that team.
I wasn't expecting that out of Jimmy.
Yeah. I was expecting a fucking 0-17, 0-18,
Yeah.
0-17.
Fucking 0-50 at this point. Like, they're just gonna keep adding games.
So, for my Lions, I have them starting off as well, like Isaiah, being the 49ers. But then they lose to the Packers, lose to the Ravens, lose to the Bears, lose to the Vikings. But then they beat the Bengals, and they lose to the Rams. Matt Stafford drops 50 on his old team. And then they beat the Eagles. The Eagles are fucking ass. And then they lose to the Steelers. Then they beat the Browns, but then they lose to the Bears. They beat the Vikings. They lose to the Broncos, lose to the Cardinals, beat the Falcons, lose to the Seahawks, lose to the Packers. Setting up a record of 6-11.
Alright. For my Lions, I have them losing to the 49ers, then losing to the Packers, then losing to the Ravens, then losing to the Bears, then losing to the Vikings, then losing to the Bengals, then losing to the Rams, then losing to the Eagles. 0-8 going on the bye. What can they do? Come off. They lose to the Steelers, then lose to the Browns, then lose to the Bears, then lose to the Vikings, then lose to the Broncos, then lose to the Cardinals. But then finally, they beat the Falcons, but then lose to the Seahawks, and then they get one on the Packers, who are probably going to bench at that point. I do not have faith in the Lions at all. I have them at 2-15.
Holy shit.
I think they're the worst team in the NFC.
You're not fucking with Jared Goff?
Nope.
You're not fucking with Motor City Dan?
I know. I like Motor City Dan, but
Motor City
I
Dan.
don't think he He can, I don't think he's a miracle worker here. The Minnesota Vikings. I have them starting off beating the Bengals, but then losing to the Cardinals, then losing to the Seahawks, but then they're going to beat the Browns and beat the Lions, then beat the Panthers. Then on the bye week, they're going to beat the Cowboys, but then they're going to lose to the Ravens, but then beat the Chargers, and then they're going to beat the Packers, first matchup there, and beat the 49ers and give the broom, sweep the Lions. But then they're going to lose to the Steelers, fall off a little bit, lose to the Steelers, lose to the Bears, and lose to the Rams, and lose to the Packers. But they're going to bring it home with a win against the Vikings. Beat the Bears. I have the Vikings going 10-7.
Wow, okay. Well, for my Vikings, I have them starting off beating the Bengals, but then losing to the Cardinals, losing to the Seahawks, but then they beat the Browns, beat the Lions, beat the Panthers, and they go on their bye week. They start resting up a little bit, getting a little ahead of themselves, and then they lose to the Cowboys, lose to the Ravens, but then they beat the Chargers, but then they lose to the Packers, and then they beat the 49ers, but then they lose to the Lions, Steelers, and Bears, but then they beat the Rams, but then they lose to the Packers and lose to the Bears, having a pretty shaky season there at the end, setting up for a record of 7-10, backwards of Brendan's.
On to the Vikings. Week 1, I have them beating the Bengals. For week 2, they're going to lose the Cardinals. Week 3, 4, and 5, they're all going to lose. They're going to lose to the Seahawks, the Browns, and the Lions. But, before the bye week, they're going to beat the Panthers. After the bye week, they're going to beat Dallas, beat the Ravens, beat the Chargers, but lose to Green Bay. And after that, lose to the 49ers, but come back, beat the Lions, beat the Steelers, beat the Bears, beat the Rams, but lose to the Packers, then finally beating the Bears for a record of 10-7.
For the Vikings, I have them starting out beating the Bengals, but then losing to the Cardinals, beating the Seahawks, big win. Losing to the Browns, though, beating the Lions, beating the Panthers, losing to the Cowboys, but then beating the Ravens and Chargers, losing to the Packers, beating the 49ers, beating the Lions, losing to the Steelers, beating the Bears, losing to the Rams, losing to the Packers, but then finishing the season on a win, beating the Bears, going 10-7. So I have them going 10-7 as well.
3 10-7s, 1 7-10.
All right. So for my Chicago Bears predictions, I don't have them doing very good either. So I have them starting out beating the Rams, but then losing to the Bengals, losing to the Browns, losing to the Lions, losing to the Raiders, beating the Packers because, that's just like what they do over there in the NFC North. But then losing to the Bucks, beating the 49ers, losing to the Steelers, losing to the Ravens, beating the Lions, losing to the Cardinals, losing to the Packers, losing to the Vikings, losing to the Seahawks, beating the Giants, and then losing to the Vikings to finish the year at 5-12.
Damn.
I don't know. I'm just
That's
done with this
fucking
whole
low.
fucking Chicago. I don't know. I just can't.
Maybe I'm tweaking, but my record.
It also helps. It also helps out the Vikings. So
Yo, you're a dick sucker.
nah, I'm just like, bro. Like they keep doing this quarterback shit. And I like Justin Fields, but
What about Mitch Trubisky, bro?
He's a Bills backup now.
but honestly, like I know because like the Bears have like a really good defense. So like a bunch of these games, like they could easily win. But like if this quarterback shit isn't working, then can't believe they made the playoffs last year. But I think the NFC East is gonna be much better. As opposed to last year.
Anyway, guys, I'm gonna keep this simple and quick.
Oh God.
I have first the Bears losing to the Rams. But hey, they're gonna beat the Bengals in week 2. But then they're gonna go on a 13-game losing streak.
Oh my god.
And then finally, in week 17, they're gonna beat the Giants, but lose to the Vikings in week 18 for a record of 2-15.
Yo, you
Jeez.
guys,
Okay.
you guys are gonna.
I didn't do all that.
We're gonna be all over the place.
I
We're
think-
gonna be across the spectrum because you guys are not ready for my record.
Looking at my record and seeing how Steven feels, I think we actually this is gonna be our biggest difference yet. Because I feel like we were like this last year with the Bears. I remember saying something like that, but go ahead and tell
That's
us
awesome.
yours, Steven.
All right. Well, I have them starting off losing to the Rams, but then they beat the Bengals, but then they lose to the Browns. They beat the Lions, but then they lose to the Raiders. But then they beat the Packers, but then they lose to the Bucks. But then they beat the 49ers, beat the Steelers, beat the Ravens, beat the Lions, beat the Cardinals. But then they lose to the Packers. Then they beat the Vikings. Then they lose to the Seahawks. But then they beat the Giants, beat the Vikings, setting up for a record of 11-6.
Wow, that is a lot of faith.
That's tough.
Bro, I think they're a good team. Justin Fields, they got a good defense.
Yeah, guys, I like Justin, but I don't like it. I hope if it works, then cool. Like I said, this is pretty much just a. I don't know. They're just a weird team because they have that great defense.
Mm-hmm.
Their offense is and they just been stressing this quarterback shit.
Who's their
And
backup?
quarterback?
Yeah. What's his name? Andy Dalton,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I mean, I don't know if he's a backup yet. It's
They got Dalton, and then they got Foles.
it's his team.
Oh,
now.
that's right. Yeah, they got Dalton. Yeah, they really said that, and then they drafted Fields.
All right. So, completing the spectrum here, we have my Bears record. I have them starting off with an L to the Rams, but then beating the Bengals, then losing to the Browns, then beating the Lions, but then losing to the Raiders, losing to the Packers, and losing to the Buccaneers. But then they beat the 49ers, and then they beat the Steelers. But off the bye week, they're going to lose to the Ravens. But then, Jesus, that scared me. They're going to beat the Lions. Then lose to the Cardinals, lose to the Packers, then beat the Vikings, lose to the Seahawks, beat the Giants, and then lose to the Vikings, and I have them going 7-10.
Okay.
So not
You only have 2 more wins than me.
not that good, but not that bad.
Stevens is the crazy. Well, Jimmy only has him getting 2. That's we are all over the place.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
So, I mean, they're getting more than 2 wins.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see what they actually do. Alright, so my NFC North standings, winning this division again, I have the Packers at 11-6. But then right behind them, not quite getting it done, I have the Vikings at 10-7. Potential wild card there, but NFC, it's tough. AFC's tough too. It's just a tough NFL right now. So we'll have to see. And then third place, I have the Bears at 7-10, and then in very last place, I have the Lions at 2-15.
Damn. For my NFC North, I have the Packers taking the division at 13-4 with a division record of 5-1. But then the Bears, only a couple games behind them at 11-6, the 5-1 division record as well. So definitely potential wild card team right there. Then the Vikings, 7-10 with a division record of 1-5, and then the Lions with a record of 6-11, but a division record of also 1-5. Now I have the Packers taking it, my NFC North with the Bears at a potential wild card.
Alrighty. For my winner of the division, I have it for the Packers with a record of 14-3. Coming in second place, I have the Vikings with a record of 10-7. And number third, I have the Lions with a record of 8-9 for third. And last place, I have the Bears coming in 2-15.
Okay.
Alright,
But for my NFC North records, I have the Packers at winning the division at 13-4. And then in second place, I have the Vikings at 10-7. In third place, I have the Chicago Bears at 5-12 with a division record of 2-4. And then fourth place, I have the Lions with the same record, 5-12, but a division record of 1-5. The Packers, I think they're good every year. And then the Vikings, I don't know. I think the Vikings are a pretty decent team. Like, they've been kind of under the radar since the... What year was it when they fucking did that miracle shit?
I think that was 17.
Like, they've been a consistent either playoff or like right there kind of team. So I think this year, they'll do all right. Maybe get a wild card, and then Chicago, I'm done with their quarterbacks, and the Lions, I just I don't think they're gonna be very good either. I hope Justin Fields is good though, honestly.
All right, I think that was the most different we were yet this year, as far as like records go. I mean, we all had the Packers winning the division, but there were a lot of different stuff we had for the different teams. But that's going to do it for our NFC North predictions. Next time, we're going to be doing the NFC South. And we're going to do the entire NFC and then playoffs before the NFL season. But for now, guys, that's going to do it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like or dislike, subscribe or don't subscribe. No, it's up to you. We'll see you guys in the next video you watch with me. Goodbye.
I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I'll make mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be grinning.